Welcome to the Fuck Around and Find Out podcast. We are your hosts, Emily, Ra, and Christine. We're three women who have built and run our own businesses and are here to shoot the shit on everything about women in business and running your own business. Ra, say hello.
Say hello. Hi. Thank you. So hi everyone, it's Ra. I am a digital marketing and systems gal, and I'm feeling really great because my hair's just been recently recolored back to its natural purple. So it's a great week.
Love it.
Yes. And hey Chris, how you doing?
Look, Ra, I'm awesome. Thank you very much. And the sun's shining. It's not windy. The trees aren't falling down in my local area like they were all over the weekend.
Yep.
I, too, have a fresh colour job. Lots of red streaks. I haven't had red for a long time. But I segue. I am Christine Longworth. I am one half of Juniper Road with the lovely Emily Grover. We are operational and shared support for small to medium businesses and having an absolutely fantastic time doing so.
Wonderful. It's fabulous. And I'm not going to bother introducing myself because that was what she said, pretty much. Just covers that up right nicely. Yeah. Yep. And we are joined today by the ever fabulous Rosie from Virtually Yours. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yay! We're very excited to have you on here. We were just gasbagging about our love for Harry Potter.
Yes.
And all the Potterheads out there. Well, Rosie, tell us about yourself.
Business-wise, I run Virtually Yours, as you just mentioned, which is a online business community and training hub for Aussie virtual assistants. I've just celebrated 20 years of that, which is
Oh my God.
Woohoo!
That is
Holy
awesome.
shit.
What a milestone.
That's epic.
Yeah,
Yes.
that kind of snuck up on me a little bit. Yeah, I think the middle years there felt like 50 years, but then suddenly it just hits you. It's crazy. And as you can imagine, it's changed a lot over that time. It has changed. Some things are so consistent, and then other things have just evolved so much. So I'm two young lasses who are both home unwell today. Thank you, winter weather. But yeah, that's my jam is working in the virtual assistant industry and doing as much advocacy and support for Aussie VAs as I can.
I was actually thinking about, obviously we knew we were interviewing you today, so I was thinking about it because you've been doing this for such a long time. It would have been such a different landscape in the VA world, when you first started compared to what it did now. I would imagine there would have been a huge COVID effect on this area as well. But what was it like when you first started?
I was so different. You didn't have social media. So the whole thing was completely different. So you would have to have my first forum for the community was attached to the website HTML type forum where people had to log into the website. Yeah, to chat. It was I used the Yahoo forums back then.
Oh God, Yahoo.
The directory and everything was all HTML code. And then used Yahoo forums, and so you would get a daily summary of the conversations and all that to your email inbox. It was just very, very different. But at that time, we just didn't know it any other way. One of my favorite Facebook, you know how you get memories each day for the year before? So when did Facebook started? Probably 15 years ago. It feels like
I think it was 2007 because I feel like it came in just as I'm showing my age right now. Finished high school.
Oh gosh, you old fart, you! I can't believe
My son was born. So yeah, you're right. 2007.
Yeah. Mine was born 2010. So go away, Em. So it's not even that old, but there's this memory post that comes up where I'm like, I can't believe people are trying to use Facebook for business. It's just not the place for it. Because it was
hindsight.
Yep.
And I was like, get away. I don't want to see this stuff on here. And of course, we didn't have any of the other platforms at all. And now look at it, it's completely different. So the way that we communicate with our audience, the way that we market things, the online courses, every single product pretty much that we use, all of those apps, they didn't exist at the start.
God, it would have been a whole landscape change. That's crazy.
Yeah. And some of it I love and some of it, not so much. Yeah.
What's the not so much? Because I know there's a lot of things I don't love, but I would be curious what's the not so much?
I think it's with social media, sometimes it's better the devil you know is why we sort of stick with it. It's so toxic, but it is the space where you can connect most quickly with people, and you can hopefully, I set up my Instagram, for example, to have a pretty solid, positive vibe feed, and you've got to work at that. Facebook is almost impossible to do that. It just doesn't care what you want to see and what you don't want to see. And it just throws stuff up at you that can be really frustrating and really triggering for a lot of people. So I think it's really very unhealthy, even though it is extremely helpful to business. And so I'm always sort of sitting in the middle going, I wish this wasn't how it worked, but it works. But I think the cost of it is too high, mental health wise.
Yeah, I think I spent the morning with my main, let's say, client, and we've had a lot of issues with the pages that I manage for them around racism and really inappropriate stuff happening, and especially on some of their paid ads. And they are hard because they translate obviously everywhere that the ad goes, and it sets a really big reputational issue for the business itself. And it's just it's also deciding when's the right time to intervene, and that kind of how you crisis management that piece of work. And Bennett and we did have the conversation of are these ads running on LinkedIn as well? And yes, they are, but the type of responses we don't is so different on a LinkedIn than you'd ever get on Facebook. And it's that piece of that's always, you have to have it, but fuck, it's just so it's just such a interesting landscape to be on as well.
And the policing is not on our side. No. It is almost impossible to get things that are trolls removed. It is really, really hard. I've reported so many comments and stuff like that on social media, on my content, within groups that I'm within, and you get this instant response from Facebook going, we've looked at it and it doesn't breach our rules or whatever it is. And it's like, wow, your rules must be really, really pathetic, because this is not how normal people behave in society.
Yeah. Exactly.
And this is clearly people who are trying to distress other people. These are clearly bots in many cases. And these are people who are sitting behind, a screen and using that to protect themselves, and you're advocating for that. That's how I see, some of these social media platforms. They just don't take any responsibility. And I'm massive on freedom of speech, but I also believe that, there's putting your beliefs out there, and then there's also just bullying.
Yeah.
It's very, very
just
different.
being a jerk. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
The thing
We've
that
already
I
worked out
find-
what we can and can't say because of the title of your podcast. So I can be as nice and talk about how much of a cock I am.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Chuck the
We
F-bomb.
count
That's
the
right.
fucks.
That's out there.
We hit our personal best with fucks in the last episode we did.
Oh, can we work on that?
Yeah.
Can we? Okay,
Fuck,
cool.
fuck.
Yeah. Add a few more in.
We do a rap song. Fuck, fuckity, fuck.
I love it.
Think of movie with that.
There you go. Halfway already.
That's so
And we
good.
do count all instances. So, fuckity fuck counts as 2 fucks.
Excellent.
Ooh, love
Okay.
it.
I like to know the rules. That's where we sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
Yep,
good.
yep.
So that's what I think. I think that the industry and all online business industries has changed hugely, but it's very dangerous in the way it's changed. And now, of course, you've got AI there, and people can't tell the difference between what's true and what's not, which is way worse.
No,
Yep.
and it's true, and it's across the board. Just like on your social platforms, whether you're in a business space or a personal space, and it's like, what is true? I remember asking somebody about something, and it's like, no, it's just a made up thing, but it's very misleading.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
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 And I think you probably come across this too. Actually, all three of you probably come across this. The thing that I'm coming up against a lot now is people coming to me not understanding what is actually fake and what's worth actually worrying about. So all the DMs saying your business account is fucked and you're
so
going to
many
be
of them.
banned. And I was like, mate, it's fake as, but the stress that people put themselves in.
But they're also tailored to look real. Like, you've got
Yeah.
people that, especially some of the older generations that aren't as tech savvy, they will be trying to do this stuff themselves and get that and freak out that their account's about to be shut down. Like,
And even the people who are tech savvy, because the language that's being used scares them because it's their business.
yeah.
I think one of the things people need to really look at just first up when they've got stuff like that, because a lot of it's in inboxes, email inboxes, is checking who sent this stuff, because it can be, my favorite is just to check to see the email address if I've got a spammy looking email, because I love the crappy email addresses that they use, and they don't even try. Don't even try with those. But the other really great tip with email inboxes in particular, if you're being sent an email and you're not really sure, is look at the way the letter A is written. So you've got your normal A is like you would see like with the little line at the top of the A. So you know how you have a fancy looking A, as opposed, so if the email address is like that, it's usually a normal one, but they copy it and they swap out one of those for one that, you know, you would learn in primary
Special
school.
character.
Sort of. Yeah. And so, and it can really, it's really hard to notice the difference because our eye just sees an A. We don't notice that it's a different A. So that's a really good way to see. But when it's in your social media inbox, it's good to have a look at their actual page and see what it is. Don't click on any links, but look at their profile page and go, okay, what is this for? Most of the time, my natural innate response is I will not be told. So you've got to prove to me who you are for me to bother listening to you. So I'm automatically protected in that way. But a lot of other people will be told, and they want to follow the rules and they want to do the right thing, and they'll fall for that.
I love that.
So
I will not be told. I feel like
be like
that's
Rosie. I will not be told.
How many times do you like get a phone call? Like, you know, say it's like from the bank or whatnot, then we ring you about something. If they want you to tell them who you are, and it's like, well, you rang me. Clearly, you know who I am.
Yeah.
No, I don't need to tell you who I am, kind of stuff.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had a bank do that, and they said to confirm. I said, well, you know, you can if you've got something you can tell me, you need to send me an email. And they're like, well, we can't confirm that it's the right email. Just like, what's the phone number any different? Like, how is any of this proving anything anywhere? I'm going to assume that you are not the right person. Have a great day. Goodbye. Because they wanted me to provide more information. And I just went, no, I really don't have time for this. And I think they actually were my bank. But I didn't want to do it. So, and the problem is that it is risky, and I'm not going to take the risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not worth it.
No.
Not worth it at all.
Yeah.
There's too many horror stories out there.
Mm.
And it happens too often.
Tipping on the bum. It does. It does.
Yeah. The other thing I think with social media, you guys would definitely encounter this, where your clients and your peers lose access to their own social media pages, and they don't have a backup admin account.
Oh, yeah.
So you need to have a best friend or your husband or wife or whatever it is who is also an admin on your page. So when you lose access to your own page, you can still log back in through them, and then they can give you access back again. So it might have nothing to do with your page, but if your personal, say on Facebook, if your personal page is hacked, you can no longer get into it. You can't get into your business account either, your business page, because you don't exist anymore. So you have to have somebody else adminning alongside you, not just editor, adminning alongside you on your business page, so that somebody can get in and prove who you are. Otherwise, good luck telling Facebook who you are. If you're a scammer, they don't care. But if you're legit and it's your page, then you're going to have to jump through hoops like you've never seen before.
I also think too, it's also knowing how your pages are set up, because, you know, doing what we all do, I've set up pages for new clients that haven't been my client now in a long time, but I still have full access to their page because I couldn't get them to take it off me. So, you know, things like that are an issue. And one of the clients I'm working with now, they don't have access to the business partner page that was originally set up for their page. And everyone that's been added into this role since then has just been added by their own personal pages. But then we have no idea who actually owns the business partner. And there's 2 paid agencies on there that haven't worked with them for a long time, that potentially have access to, like, things like that is such sensitive information that is also now causing massive problems for us to try and figure out where the hell this all sits, how to get it back, how to figure out an interim plan to save all this potential information. Like, it's
so messy.
So messy and so scary. And like, just knowing who's got access to what is so important to know. It's so important. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. You think that there would be just one email right at the start that has like a unique code or whatever that you could fall back on if anything kind of went to shit. But no, There's
No,
nothing.
there isn't. No.
No.
No,
No.
the support system through Facebook is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look, we
Which
we
is
did,
why they have the paid system.
yeah,
You're meant to get more support if you start paying. For
I
that blue tick.
heard that you don't though.
it's not that
Yeah.
high.
No. One of my
Okay.
clients paid for the blue tick and she's a known personality and she still has issues getting support when there are copies of her account being made on Facebook and Instagram and it still comes back as going, oh no, they're clearly not a copy.
Oh,
It is. Duh. Oh my God. Yep. It's a hot mess. Hot mess.
Total hot mess.
I
Yeah.
love that expression, hot mess.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's a hot mess. Yeah.
Okay, Rosie,
natural.
I've got a question for you.
All righty.
What was your why? As in, why did you create and start your business?
Well, so my why evolved after I'd created, and I think this is important for everybody to work out 2 levels of why. So
Mhm.
when I started it, I wanted to just do something that I was basically, I was still very young. So I was about 25 when I started.
It's like a couple of years ago.
No, I had to pause and pose.
Yeah.
And
Doing it for the gram for M.
It's all for the gram.
So for the people listening at home, Em's taking a photo of us in our virtual studio. So we all stopped
Yeah.
and started posing.
because we're all a bunch of posers, which I
Yep.
know.
Yeah.
So when I started, it was more because I wanted to have some sort of control, something that was mine, because I was working in a government-funded health community centre, and it was just constant take in that, where they were just taking away people's abilities to just get jobs done. They were making it harder for everybody. There was constant funding issues. It was constant, working with client ratio issues. And as someone in their mid-20s, I got to the point where I said to the managers above me, I was middle management, and I just said, I just can't be your messenger anymore. I can't be telling people constantly what we're taking instead of giving, which is what I came in here to do. And I'd had so much experience working with computers and found that very easy and very natural. So I just started to create it myself just so that I could go and have that control back, I think. It wasn't a huge thing to start it off for me because I didn't have to worry about, I was a boomerang child. I'd actually moved back in with my dad at that point. He worked for himself as well. And so we were both just running a business each from home, which was really, really lovely. And I didn't have huge financial commitments. I didn't have children underfoot. So it was pretty sweet deal. Good time to start. And of course, at that age, you don't know what you don't know. So you're going to go in there and just do all the things.
So true.
And then you learn the hard way. So, which I think is fantastic. It's painful for everybody else, but good for you if you're willing to pick yourself up, dust yourself off and keep on going and learn from things. And then as a few years into it, I realized I wasn't really quite sure what my why was. I have a lot of people who come to me now and say they do it for their kids and they do it for their freedom and flexibility and whatnot. And I do it. I do remember when I was working, what that feeling, when you were out of the office, when you were out driving. To me, it was in my black Datsun 200B on a sunny day and I wasn't in the office, that feeling of freedom.
Yeah.
Like I realized
Winding down the window manually.
Oh yeah.
The wind in your hand.
Everything was manual. Pretty much
Those were the
had
days.
no flooring, and you had your feet down on the ground running for it, Flintstone style. Like it was, it was one of those cars. But I realized after a few years that I had the ability to experience that any day I wanted, and to me that meant that I had already succeeded. So, and if I want to go to the hairdressers, so and look as gorgeous as you lovely girls who've had your hair done, I'm going in on Friday. I don't have to tell anybody. I don't have to request time off. I don't have to say I'm not going to be in the office or whatever it might be. To me, that was my definition of success. So I then needed a bigger reason why, because that was already hugely satisfying, but I could have just sort of sat back and not done much with that. So everything that I do now is based on the question, does it improve the situation for Australian virtual assistants? Does it improve their reputation? Does it improve their experience? And does it help them empower themselves? So everything that I do is based on whether it helps me achieve that. And if it doesn't, I don't do it. And if it does, then I do. And so my big why in business around why I do the things I do in business is around that. But the reason why I want to keep working in business and working for myself is because I don't want my wings clipped, and I don't want to have, requesting permission to do things, because as I said earlier, I will not be told.
I love that.
I like
I
that.
love it.
Yeah, I like that freedom.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh my God, yeah. I like that point about, having a why when you get in and needing to relook at your why.
Yeah.
It kind of got me thinking, yes, I've got the why I got into it. And yes, it was around about my son and reinventing myself. But yeah, and I know I've got a why I'm doing it now and why I'm doing it for my future, but I don't think about it in those terms. So it's actually really good to rethink that and then
I agree. Like I love the whole
Yeah.
like not having to report where you are to do what you want. And I think that's a big one for me too, is being able to just juggle the things that I need to juggle when I need to juggle them, and not have to feel like I've got someone breathing down my neck and reporting my every single movement to everything. Like the micromanaging piece is such I cannot stand it. It does my head in.
Yeah.
And that
At the end of the day, we always choose who we're working with now. We
Yeah.
always choose. And that is so empowering, and that
Yeah.
is so valuable. Even if you're not making huge money, if you've got people trying to tell you need to be making, 6 figures
oh,
or,
I hate that.
5 figures a month or whatever it might be, at the end of the day, are you choosing who you actually spend your time with?
Yeah.
Are you choosing who you support? Are you making it so that you have time? Have you forgotten what your kids look like, and you actually want to know what they look like? So all of these choices around balance and freedom, I've always put a huge financial value on that. And I go, that is worth, this amount per year to me, mentally, physically, emotionally. And then my income is, I don't tell the tax agents that because they tax me up there wazoo, but my actual income is like obviously needed, but in terms of my success, I see it as on top of that. Because that freedom is my asset.
Yeah,
It's true,
it
though.
really is.
Very true. Yeah.
It really is.
Oh.
God,
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. Great, nicely put. Very nicely put. And I feel like, we all get bogged down with the, oh my God, we need to be making, and the cost of life is just so expensive nowadays as well. So we overload ourselves drastically. But I think you're right. We should actually put more value on the ability to be, my son's still at home with me right now because he's still on school holidays today, finishes tomorrow. And like to be able to just be here and not have to pay extra money and have him just be happily pottering around home and playing the PlayStation or whatever, and not have to worry about putting him in after school care or dragging him into an office that he doesn't want to go to, even though he's totally fine when we go to our office, but it's by choice again.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're mandated to do it kind of thing. It's you kind of can't put a price on that, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good thing, which kind of leads to the next question, which I feel like is always a fun question for people. What do you think what has your biggest challenge been in your business in this lovely journey?
I think learning that people will come and go has been a really hard one. You have, I tend to just assume everybody's going to be my best buddy now, that we're all going to be fine and everything's going to be fine. And it doesn't always work out that way. And I think when you're in business, you will meet more people than you've ever met before, as opposed to depending on your job, but as opposed to a normal sort of business support type job that would be the alternative for most of us. The number of people that we meet and that we need to trust and to collaborate with and to learn from is huge. And so the risk of them, not necessarily being aligned with your values is obviously going to be higher. And so it can be really hard when those things kind of rear their ugly head and you find out that not every person that you encounter is going to be, smooth sailing in terms of that friendship or relationship. And I'm not really great at getting over that kind of thing. I think that's been really, really hard for me over the years, is the relationships that don't work out in business.
I feel that. I think you and I are so similar. It's exactly what I'm like as well. That stuff cuts deep and I hold on to it more than I ever should. And then I find it very hard to let go as well.
Yeah, massively. And I know I shouldn't. And you get annoyed and you get angry and you don't, but at the end of the day, you just get hurt.
Yeah.
And, like at the end of the day, it always takes two to tango. Obviously, both didn't work out well for whatever reason. It's never completely on somebody else, but it's still, that's the hardest thing, I think, because it would be nice if everybody was like, the people that are in my circle at the moment, I absolutely love. They're amazing. They bring me so much joy. But at the end of the day, we all change and we all evolve. And I cannot rely on that to be a constant.
Yeah.
Yep.
No. And we've all got to evolve and change.
Yeah.
We can't stay the same forever. So,
Please don't let me stay the same. Oh, my God.
No.
I can't think of anything worse.
No. I'm very happy to be the person I am today. That's so much better than the person I was, 10, 15 years ago when, meeting so many people and yes, learning to let go, learning to let go of clients and putting, like lines in the sand and not getting all too depressed and stressed and everything. But it's a journey and it takes time and it takes practice. So you've got to be letting go a lot of people throughout your business journey, don't you, to feel more comfortable. And it's not that you're ever going to be comfortable. It's just that it's an easier thing.
Well, you just can't hold on to the people that are the wrong fit for you. You can't.
No, not at all.
And it's funny because that's one of, as we just said before, we always choose who's going to be in our space now.
Yeah.
And that's one of the privileges, but it's also one of the hard things because then sometimes you've got to make this choice or, as you said, be let go of. So you're either letting go of them or they just go, actually, I think you suck and I'm going to let you go. And
that's right.
and that's going to happen. Not everyone can handle the level of awesome we all put out there.
Oh, God, no.
Exactly. Hello. Preach.
I have a t-shirt that literally says, if I'm too much, go find less.
Oh, no, it's like
Yes.
underneath that. It's funny. Even just saying that is a filter. There's going to be people that go, oh, God, she's so up and down.
Yeah.
I have no parents. So it doesn't matter what you say. There's
But
going to be people that
becomes a
just go,
self-qualifying process. Yeah.
It's a
Because
filter.
if you are who you are, it's going to pre-qualify people and they're not even going to be looking at talking to you to work with you if they think you're too much.
Which is why I think it's hard when people do come in and then that qualifier, it's like a post-qualifier, stuff happens, things happen and then it falls apart. That's way harder. I'm actually totally cool with someone right up front being like, yeah, you're not my sort of person. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But when you've created that friendship or that relationship and then we go, hang on a sec, you're actually not right for me either. That's, as Emma was saying, that cuts a bit harder. And you've got to keep working through that. As I said, 20 years, there's got to be a lot of relationships there. And you can get to a point where you think, okay, maybe this is all too hard. And, you definitely go through periods of time. That's probably the other thing is the biggest challenge is surviving those periods of time when you want to give up. And they hit you every other year, I reckon.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You need to fight through it.
and it's hard too. I think those things, the ones that cut deep, I know for me have been relationships where I feel like I'm a natural giver of a human. Most people who know me well enough know that I'm like Santa Claus. I love to gift people things. I come from a very I guess it's almost a bit superficial, but from a family, my mum's a big gifter, so she. That's how she shows love, It's not actually how I want to receive love, but it's how I've been programmed to show affection or love to other people. And when I'm one of those people that I will usually be all in, and I know I need to kind of bring that back a bit and try not to be so all in because I do get hurt a lot. My husband's witnessed so much of that in our entire relationship. And, there will be times where, I have gone all in. I always will be that person that tries to help out or whatever. And then it gets to the point where next minute it's like, oh, well, I'm actually being completely taken advantage of and I'm being burnt really hard. And I don't like that too. And that's where I find that hurts me more than most as well, because it's like, but then I have to remind myself I'm making that choice to put myself out there that much as well and to be so giving. And, I got to stop that to stop the hurt so much as well. So it's a tricky one, but you're right. You find the point in which I feel like right now, touch wood, I'm not jinxing this by saying this out loud, that I've got a fabulous, everyone in my life and in my world is just so perfect. They're just such perfect people. Everything is just so lovely. I have not felt like, yeah, flick that hair, right? Flick that hair.
For anybody listening,
full credit.
Ra
He's
is
feeling himself.
beautiful purple hair.
With that.
And like, you know, like I feel like I've taken a long while to get to this point, but I feel like I am exactly where I'm meant to be with the people I have around me as well. Touch wood. Touch wood. I know people come and go, but like these people need to stay or I'll hunt you down. No, you know, so it's I feel like we've been through, like, especially Chris and I, we've been through, even from a client perspective, those ones that you've realized you have to take that leap, and you know in your core they're not aligned to who you are and what we want to achieve in our business, but it's that scary part of making that decision to cut the ties and how to do that in a way that's not confrontational as well. And, you know, same thing with Chris and I, with how we wanted to like even pivot the way our business is, we're calling ourselves and who we want to associate with too. We've done a lot of thought process on that, I think, in the last 6 to 8 months, probably longer, and really decided, because we're almost freaking 8 months in this year, about a year, and then really kind of thought about how we want to align ourselves to and what works and who we do feel really connected with and who we don't, and in that kind of method. So it's a lot of thought process, but it's scary because, you know, we're both traditional people pleasers.
Yeah.
So that makes it uncomfortable.
A lot of people doing this sort of work are, they want to be helping people out and solving things and being people pleasers. And so to then talk to them about boundaries can make them feel, like a bit
Really
uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, boundaries. That's my word of the year.
Yes. Well, as you know, Amber Field and I have a different podcast, and most of our topics end up coming back around to boundaries because we get questions and they always end up being related in some way to boundary breach.
Yeah, they certainly are, you know, like a lot of people, balance is the thing, but that comes back to it. So I agree with you, Rosie. It's actually almost like the bouncing off point for everything else that you need comes back to, yes, personal and professional business boundaries for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. I think, you know your shit. You've been around the blocks a couple of times.
I want to know where the apostrophe sat in that sentence. So
Yes.
Yeah.
You're talking to the woman whose like main thing is grammar and or the way in which she words herself. Yeah.
Okay,
you know your
Rosie.
shit. Okay.
Okay, Rosie, comma, you know your shit, exclamation mark.
It's in the your.
So, new sentence. What would be one piece of advice that you would like to share with other women who are looking to start their own business? Question mark.
I think it'd be a combination of embrace the fact that there is heaps that you don't know, and pop yourself comfortably into spaces where there are people who know what you don't know and are happy to provide you with that advice without taking it like it's a bad or terrifying thing. I do see some people who come into the business world, and then because everybody else around them has answers, the thing is everyone has questions too, but because everyone has answers, they freak out and think, I don't know enough, and I don't know what I don't know, and then I'm going to leave, right? We all start like that. I started like that.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. And the thing is, you've got to just take it day by day and just start figuring it out. And if you can be surrounded by people who are happy to share with you what they've learned, you'll find the reward for that will be that you end up being one of the one who starts giving answers to other people and asking those more complicated questions, because you will never stop asking questions. So get comfortable with asking questions, but also with doing research and with being around people and being so excited about being around other people who know stuff that you don't know. I love how much the people in my space, in my group, know that I don't know. And sometimes they'll be having conversations and discussions around, certain software programs, for example, where I just zone out because I'm like, I don't know that. And I know I don't want to know that. And I'm so thrilled. Like it sounds awful. Like I'm stepping away in, I don't want that. No, I'm going to step back, but I am so excited and happy that they know that and that they're sharing that. And that's
I love it. And because as we all know, it takes a little, it's a confidence booster, but it takes a little bit of confidence and bravery to then value add to these spaces, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so being in those spaces and listening and learning is and not quite questioning is very valuable when you get
And
started.
I think it's also too, like, I've found that you can get people that get very threatened if you know what you know, and it's like the whole concept of being threatened of people is something I find like irritating beyond belief, but also really fascinating, because it's like the smart person would be like, if you feel threatened, then like become that person's best friend and like figure out how they think, learn from them. You know, there's obviously something there that is pinging, and just because they know the questions to the answers, or have, you know, that knowledge that seems to be more, does not mean that you don't know it either. It just means that they have a different perspective of it as well. Like so many of us do similar services and have similar skill sets, but it doesn't mean that, like, you know, Rara and I talk constantly, and I swear to God, I learn something every single time I'm in this physical space as this woman. And it's just always like every time it's like amazing the shit we can kind of come up with because we're just having conversations on this and that and whatever. And
I've also taught you how to make fart noises with a paper straw.
she really has.
well,
yeah.
correct.
A lot of photographic evidence of that one. But you know, like it's that, like, I love it. It's like it's less threatened, more collaborated. Like I feel like I'm the least threatened human being I'd try to be, at least on the planet, like, because I see opportunity as opposed to threat.
100%. And that's a superpower. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to think it is, but it's that would be kind of go with that. Like, it's not one person's got all the answers.
No. And so that's what I think happens too. People, they'll go into a group. So like virtually yours, they'll go in there and they'll see all these answers coming at them, but it's a little piece of advice from each person. So collectively, they know heaps. Yeah. Individually, they know a lot. And some of them are new like you, and they know very little. And it all balances out in the wash. And at the end of the day, the whole point of them sharing is because it's such a gift that they're sharing these answers. So I find it crazy that you wouldn't just suck that right up.
Exactly.
The whole point of that is to bring you up, not to push you down.
It's to learn and to ever evolve from that, you know?
Yeah.
If you're not willing to learn and keep learning and be okay with not always being the smartest in the room, then you'll do well.
Yep,
exactly.
100%.
Yep.
Had a great ad.
Can I just throw in one more question before I know we have to wrap it up? What would you consider your biggest woohoo moment has been?
My biggest woohoo moment, I think was it last year when Business in a Box, is that what it is, included my book, The Outsourcing Secret. And they bought
amazing
copies of my book into their boxes, and I cannot tell you how excited I was. I was so excited. That was crazy. But I've had heaps of really, like, it can be stuff from, you know, having a mentee who gets, you know, their ideal client, you know, weeks after we've spoken, all the way through to launching a new course, to, you know, running an online conference, because my conference that was supposed to be face-to-face, and you need to tell everyone about your one, was cancelled thanks to COVID. But then coming back and running it online was, you know, that was awesome. But I think for me, the thing that just blew me away the most was that someone had that much faith in my book and purchased that many copies. That was
really
amazing.
Exciting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we will put
links
to everything in our show notes.
Yes.
I'm actually thinking we need to start a bit of a website page that's all about where people can find the resources that we talk about.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's the development piece.
That's a great idea.
Continuous improvement.
Yes,
it's also great for an SEO.
All the ideas.
Just quietly.
Okay, Rosie, I have a Pandora's box full of all the things that you have lost in your life up until this point in time. Memories, people, animals, whatever. What would be the one thing that you actually would like to pick out of that box?
One of my favorite expressions is, of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most. So I would dig deep into that box for my sanity and see what's there.
I mean,
might have to think pretty deep.
That's fantastic.
It'd have to be pretty deep box.
Yeah.
Oh, That's so good.
Okay, where can we find you?
www.virtuallyyours.com.au has all my stuff.
Amazing.
Excellent.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining
Yes,
us
thank
in this
you.
virtual podcasting studio today.
Thank you for having me. I've had a blast.
We might need to
I'd love
actually get
talking
you
to
back
you.
for like 2.0 for some other
Yeah, we
topics.
might need
Yes.
to have that too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
please.
I'm up for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.